Thinking back to our learning target, we said that we would compare and contrast plane and solid figures, specifically the square and the cube. And we said that we would compare the number and shape of faces, the edges, the vertices, and the angles. So let's check our work and see what we have. All right, so we already said that a square is a plane figure because it is only two dimensions, length, and width, and that a cube is a solid figure because it has three dimensions, length, width, and height. So let's talk about the number and shape of faces. Well, we know that a face is any flat surface on a solid figure. So we can say 0 faces for the square. And then let's find our reference point. There it is. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. And their faces are also squares. So I could say 6 square faces, or I could say 6 faces that are squares. And you can pause the video if you need time to write that yourself. If you don't have this detail, make sure you add it. Edges. Well, an edge is the line segment where two faces of a solid figure intersect. So a square doesn't have edges. Instead, it has sides, since it's a plane figure. And the edges on, let's find our reference point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges. Vertices. We know that a vertex is a point at which two or more line segments are raised meet to form an angle. So let's count. We do have line segments on this square. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. All right, let's find out how many in the cube. Find my reference point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. And I'm matching them up so I can easily compare. All right, the last thing we're going to compare or contrast are angles. An angle is formed by two rays that share a common endpoint called a vertex. And we know that a square has right angles. So they measure that 90-degree angle, which makes sense because all squares are rectangles, and rectangles have 4 right angles. So 4 right angles. And so if we were to talk about the cube, let's find our reference point. I don't know that we need to count, but because the cube is made up of squares, then it is also made up of right angles. You're welcome to count, but we don't necessarily need to count them for this particular part. How did you do?